Coming from South Africa and having covered violent unrest there, I sort of was prepared for action, And I came down the street here and it was absolutely packed with people. And I finally came to about this spot and I saw up there on the balcony, there were a group of students and they had their cell phones with their lights on and they were singing a freedom song and waving their phones and everybody was super peaceful and calm. And I was like, wow, this is like amazing what's going on here. And so that was one of the first impressions I had, of Taiwan. It's like they do protest differently here. My name is Tobie Openshaw. I'm a documentary filmmaker. I'm from South Africa originally. I've been in Taiwan for 26 years now. Taiwan is my home, and this layered society and the very robust democracy that you can see on the street here is something that's really special to me. So on the day when we had like 500,000 people out here, the atmosphere was just absolutely amazing. I saw a lot of people who were marshalling. How and when they coordinated those people, I really don't know. But there were people out there with armbands, with a megaphone saying, okay, everybody, you go this side, you guys go that side, marshalling people, keeping everything constrained and controlled. And I also saw a beautiful thing there on that day. Somebody got hurt somewhere and an ambulance needed to get through. Now that street was packed with people, all 3 lanes, right? And there was a kid running in front of the ambulance with his little glow stick thing and shouting at people to move out of the way. And everybody just parted like this. And the ambulance went wee-wah, straight through that. And then everyone just closed in again and sat down. It was just such a beautiful sense of this community caring for each other. Inside the hall, during that whole period, things were quite busy, because the students were mostly getting their message out. So firstly, there was this conversations going on about what is this about, what do they want, what are their demands, what will they accept for their demands. Of course, there was also infighting amongst the group there. There's no question about it. Some people wanted to stay longer. Some people wanted to say, okay, we're done, we can get out now. So there was a lot of that kind of conversation going on. But then also communicating with the outside world. They were translating press releases in like 15 different languages. The atmosphere in there was absolutely electric. There were obviously quieter times and people would just sleep there as well and so on. But it was, you could not be inside there and see all the posters they had put up and everything without realizing that this was a really historic moment. People recognized that this was something that was important and that they wanted to support. We saw here in the street and over on that side, there were tents set up with piles of food, water bottles. People were sending stuff to the sunflowers. There were even websites where you could go on and just purchase X boxes of whatever and have it sent here, A lot of other groups and activists joined in and used this platform to bring out what they wanted to say. So especially indigenous people came out here. I remember there was one guy who made a speech and he was saying, you guys make sure that what you're doing here carries through, because we indigenous people know what it's like to have agreements that turn back on us. Just a few days in to the sit-in here, I was asked by The Economist to film an interview with Ma Ying-jeou. They had set this up a long time before, so they were going to talk about economic stuff. But obviously, this now became the topic. And it was a very, very strange situation and a very tense situation. I could tell that Ma Ying-jeou was not having a good time, because I think it was beginning to sink in that this thing was not going to go away. He basically said what we expected, which is, oh, these naughty students need to go back to school. But that was literally the best that you could come up with at that time. But I will never forget, there in the presidential hall, the atmosphere was so thick you could cut it with a knife. And on the 1st of April, Chang An-le, who is this political leader known as the White Wolf, got a group of his supporters together, and they said they were going to come and teach these students a lesson. So the potential for conflict and violence was very, very real there. And so everybody, was prepared for that. And that was the closest that I came to a situation which was really volatile. But it was also a very clear demonstration of what was sort of happening here, as there was this group of legislators standing there firmly, quietly, calmly, we are blocking him. And then there was this thin blue line of police in front of them, protecting them. And then on the other side, there was this mob shouting and going on. And every now and then, somebody would really push or shove, and things would get really sort of busy there. But again, police work was outstanding from my point of view. They totally contained the situation and prevented any real violence from happening. 10 years ago, the youth of Taiwan was known as the strawberries because if you squeeze them, they bruise very easily. And somehow this event brought the young people together in a way that's never been done before in Taiwan. And I saw students being really, really brave because they had something that they believed in and they were willing to stand up for it. So when the police approached, with their batons and everything, those kids would link arms and sit in the street, I get choked up every time I talk about it because it's really beautiful to see. And so they did this thing, as I said, kept the moral high ground, and they were successful. They were largely successful. Today, many people say, oh, the sunflower movement, it's all gone. Where are they now? It wasn't successful or whatever. But no, it really was. And it caused a whole groundswell of people recognizing and realizing that they have a role to play in the politics in this country and that there are things that are worth fighting for. And so to this day, I feel that the youth of Taiwan have really shown a strength that nobody knew they had and that they will carry into the future, And so looking at what might be coming down the pike here in Taiwan, I really feel that the people of Taiwan will surprise the world when their backs are against the wall.